Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Real Gets to the Chopper. I'm your host Andy Godoy and I'm back again with another one of these film commentaries, and today's film is Gremlins. Now I absolutely love this film, and it's the first time I've actually, well, I say first time, it's going to be the second time I've watched it on 4K. Because I'll tell you a little bit during the podcast what's actually happened. It didn't actually record the second half because the disc froze and stuff like that. But anyway, more about that in a bit while I'm talking about the films. So basically, I love this film. It's one of my favourite films in the whole wide world. Had it on pretty much every format out there. And yeah, big special shout out goes to Luke Hayes Payne. This is a special extra bonus episode, specially thanks to Luke Hayes Payne, who kindly sent me the 4K disc. Again, you've been an absolute lifesaver. There's been films that I've wanted to do, but I couldn't have done because I haven't got them on 4K disc. And yeah, I could stream them, but you know what? I find that watching them, they don't look as good as they do an actual physical disc. They really don't. So again, guys, if you've got to thank someone, thank Luke Hayes Payne from the group on Gets to the Chopper. You know, he's been absolutely fantastic sending me some of these films. So I really, really appreciate it. So with that then, I'm going to sort of start the film for the second time on 4K. So 3, 2, 1... press play. Right, so let me quickly grab my coffee. Right, the volume's gone up. Ooh, got a hot coffee. There they are in Chinatown. Sailor walking down with a lady of the night down the street. Looks like it. Maybe they're just hanging. Peltzer's walking down there. No, he says he's an inventor. Is he really? Because a lot of the stuff he invents, they don't work for nothing, really. Now, I've got to say, like I said before, it was the first time I'd watched it in 4K. I have watched this film on pretty much every format. I was too young to watch this on at the cinema, but I have seen this on TV, via my VHS as well, on my CRT TV, DVD, Blu-ray, and now 4K. And I'll tell you what, there is a really nice big jump in 4K. Now, what I've noticed about the 4K version, again, watching it the second time round, is that the colours really shine. It looks, okay, it's a grainy looking film on 4K, but again, that's nothing wrong with that. That's because it was shot on film. It was shot on 35mm. So it's got that cinematic feel, the way it's, you know, like the film's been captured. And some people don't like films being shot on, you know, on film and looking grainy, like, you know, like especially some sort of modern viewers, they like the films crystal clean looking, like modern films. Sorry, I'm just admiring this guy's invention. Is it really? Little gong. I do wonder, I'll go back onto my movie grain rant in a second, is why is this guy wandering around Chinatown in the middle of the night trying to sort of sell his invention? I know he's been away, at some sort of like going to an expo, staying over to try and sort of, big up his invention, but I do wonder why he's lurking the streets at night. I do love this bit here. The nice little reveal, and there it is. Now, I don't know if I knew this before when I recorded it the first time, and it didn't record, but apparently the reason why Gizmo looks like the way it looks is because Steven Spielberg requested to the, effects guys that they make Gizmo have the same color scheme and have some sort of resemblance to his dog, which was a King Cavalier Spaniel. Now, it's funny enough, I always think my little dog looks like, like Gizmo the Mogwai. And that's because my dog is half King Cavalier Spaniel. It's actually, a Cavapoo, so it's also half poodle. But because my dog's on the short side, it was a run at the litter, and we do think it's a little dog, to be politically correct, because it hasn't grown much. It's about the size of Gizmo, and it's very animated, and there's always thought behind its little face, and it's got big ears. But look, here we go. Look, there he is out in the street. This little kid's going to get beaten by his granddad. I mean, I know he's meant to be in Chinatown, but he looks like he's actually traveling around the underskirts of the cities in Blade Runner. I don't know how far this guy went to try and sell his little inventions that don't work. Oh, here we go, the rules. Now, these rules do get made fun of, like in the second film. And I'll tell you what, as films go, the second film is absolutely fantastic. It's one of those rare sequels where it could possibly be better than the first film. It's really great sequel. I love this. Look at this. This is a Christmas film. Steven Spielberg presents Gremlins. Now, this little this little town here is the town, well, it's basically the same set from Hill Valley from Back to the Future. And it's been in quite a few different films. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but more famously, like I said, I know it's just like this and Back to the Future, which I cannot wait to do at some point. I've got it on Blu-ray, but you know what? I'm going to have to get the collection on 4K, so I might treat myself for my birthday. And look who we got here. A young Corey Feldman. Now, Corey Feldman, again, he's just like a big part of the 80s. I think when it comes to movies, he was in quite a lot of stuff that I watched growing up as a kid. This is the first film I think I remember seeing him in. I was probably like about 7 or 8 or something like that when I watched this. And then a few years later, once I started getting into horror films when I was about 10 or 11, obviously I discovered him in films like Friday the 13th Part 3. And he's really good in that as Tommy Jarvis. Now, this actor here, Zach Galligan, I think his name is. I really like him. I think he's a really good actor. I've not seen him in too many films. Oh, and here we got his friendly racist next door neighbor. He's brilliant, though. He's like the most racist, happy man in the world, and angry at the same time. Good old Mr. Flutterman. Now, this is another guy that I have seen in various other films. Oh, hello. My cat has joined us for the podcast. Come on, cat. It's my daughter's cat, Rosie, which is sitting on my lap, or trying to at this moment in time. And Barney, his pet dog, is a really good pet dog actor. Now, this actor, like I mentioned before, who plays Billy, not this guy, that's Mr. Flutterman. I don't know what other films Mr. Flutterman's been in from, apart from Gremlins 2, but I do remember seeing him in other films. I just can't remember what off the top of my head. But this guy here who plays Billy, he really should have been in a lot more, and I don't remember him in a lot more, apart from one film, which, strangely enough, he worked with Corey Feldman. But it was weird because in this, there's that big age difference. Oh, there's Burger King. You know, like, he's like in his late teens, probably college type thing, or end of high school. And then you've got, what's it called? Corey Feldman's character, who's Pete, who's just a little kid, and there's a film where they're both sort of college type age, and they're both like best buddies, and it's sort of like a one of those 80s, 90s sleazy type comedy funny films, but it's not that great. But I watched it because it starred both these guys. And sometimes people ask me, like, how have you watched so many films? And that's because as a kid growing up, I lived and breathed going to the video shop. We had a little local video shop where I was growing up called Samco, and then eventually it closed down. But I remember you'd rent your films, you'd get your trailers for films before the actual film started, which would be advertising, obviously, the films that would be coming out soon. And also, you'd also have like a little film magazine of all the latest films. And then as you'd walk in, you'd see all the films and the rows and categories. And obviously, because of the amazing box art that they had. Oh, here comes Mrs. Deagle. She's like the villain of the film. It's got her own theme tune. Bum, 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 bum. Poor Billy. But yeah, anyway, I'll quickly go on back to my film grain look. I feel that this film, as it looks the best it ever has. Oh, she's so mean. It's kind of like a Christmas like a with Scrooge type story. She's so mean. I think she calls them deadbeats. Says it right to the poor little kids. Oh, she's so mean. Poor little kids. Look at their little faces. Forgot to mention the beautiful Phoebe Cates. Not this lady. Billy's girlfriend, or soon-to-be girlfriend, is who plays Cates. It's absolutely gorgeous in this. It was the first film I've seen her, like one of my first childhood crushes. She's absolutely gorgeous. Mrs. Deagle's kind of like a Cruella de Vil type character as well. Oh, yeah. Barney's such a good dog actor. And look, there's a young Judge Reinhold. Playing the role of Gerald by the looks of it. And obviously we all know him from like loads of other films, but more famously enough from Beverly Hills Cop, which is another film which I haven't seen in years, which I probably will do in 4K at some point. Oh, poor heart. it's interesting seeing him play this sort of sleazy, smart, well, I say smart, but like bad guy role. I always thought his voice kind of sounded like Garfield's voice. He's a patronizing asshole. It's the 80s. Yuppies, rich money. People wanted that. Phoebe Cates is so beautiful. She's just an amazing actress as well. Again, she's one of those actresses that I don't remember seeing her in too much. She should have really been in a lot more, but it was always her and the girl from Labyrinth that I always thought were absolutely gorgeous growing up as a kid. But Phoebe Cates, obviously, she's in a sequel. She's married to, I think she's still married to Kevin Kline, the actor. But she also works in a really great film, which I recommend you should watch, called Princess Caribou, where she plays this mysterious girl that arrives in a town claiming to be a princess from a far-off place who doesn't speak English. And she becomes the talk of the town and the most interesting thing. Really good film. Definitely check it out. Even if you don't, check it out on YouTube first. Billy's mum again. She's another one of these actresses that I remember being in loads of other things. Oh, there we go. The Peltzer machine again. That doesn't work. Why do they insist on having his machines that don't do anything? I mean, like, really, do you need someone to crack your eggs? Just crack your own eggs. She's in denial. She's in denial. She must love that. That old guy. Say that old guy's probably my age now. But yeah, we've got the lineup. So again, this year, like we've had some great films. I will be doing quite a lot of film commentaries. I will be doing other little podcasts like I previously have done before. But I feel like with the new Reel Gets to the Chopper, I will be concentrating on more movie commentaries because I enjoy doing them because I love movies, I love recording podcasts, and it's relatively quite easy for me to do. I get to watch a film, talk about the film, about you guys. Oh yeah, I forgot to give a big special mention to my good friend Damian Sayers. Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Damian also listens to these podcasts. I've been lucky enough to have him sort of on a show when we did Waterworld. Hopefully I'll get him a lot more in the new year and you'll be a little bit more part in the podcast and stuff like that. So it's always great to have Damian on the podcast because he's one of those guys that even out geeks me when it comes to movie knowledge. He'll know straight away what actors, like who they are and what they've been in. But here we go, the mysterious reveal. Barney's all ready. What a good actor. That looks like my dog as well. That looks like a Cavapoo. But a normal sized one. Whereas my Cavapoo is about the size of Gizmo. I love the reveal. And I love, it's just like a little puppet. I love the way this is shot. I love the way they do this. The proper old school special effects, like the way they do this, the way it's shot, the way they light up the scene, the way they frame it. Honestly, it's beautiful, the cinematography in this. And I love the way like the fire's glowing on Billy's face and on their clothes. And this is what I mean. I've watched this film on every format, and it wasn't until I've watched it on 4K that I'm noticing all these things. And I don't know whether it's because I'm doing a podcast and I'm doing commentary, but it's the best that I can imagine. This is what it would have looked like in the 35mm. Look at Gizmo, really damn cute, his little smile on his face, voiced by Howie Mandel. Over here in the UK, we only really know him from sort of like Americans Got Talent. But obviously, me being the geek, I also know him from sort of like doing sort of like voices and stuff like Muppet Babies and other cartoon shows. This is an interesting film. It starts off very Christmassy, like a Christmas story. Feels like it's a sleepy town from the 1950s, like very slow growing, stuck in its era, but it's in the 80s, and that's why you've got people like Gerald in it. And again, I love how they just... Now, there are rumours that there will be a Gremlins 3, and you know what? I want it. But I want it to be done like this. I don't want it to be sort of like so realistic. Little things like this just look quite charming, but real at the same time. Honestly, if you look at my dog, my dog looks like that, but it's all white or yellow or blonde, I should say. This little face. And it makes little sounds like that as well. But the music, you know, it's great. Oh, his little eyes. And again, it's little things like this that made Gizmo so cute. His little voice, his little movements, his little personality, his kindness. Really likable little character. Now, obviously, this inspired loads of other sort of films similar to it, but not quite as good. You had sort of Critters, which were these aliens that came from outer space. Now, I have requested the Blu-ray collection from Arrow. My wife is getting me that. I will be doing that, hopefully the first film in February, and then I'll do the other films pretty much every month. This little film... His little voice, I should say. His little upside down smile. He looks so unhappy. This is what I mean. They need to do more real stuff. Nowadays, honestly, I really hope if they do it, they don't do it like with CG. It looks so rubbish. And I want the film to be set in a sleepy little town like this and shot on film. Obviously, it won't do. It'll be looking really clean. And that goes back to my other thing, going back to where I originally said. Films like this can look either warm, moody, gritty because of the film grain, the way it's shot. It's got real depth. Things look solid. Things have got perspective. And whereas modern films, they can look somewhat muted. If done right, you know, even like previously, Tron Legacy is about 10 plus years old, looks incredible. You know, if films are shot right, I'll give you an example. The film Candyman, one of my favourite films ever, which will definitely be done for the podcast, is amazing. Now, I get this invention, why you'd want a juicer. But again, how the hell did that much juice come from that? But yeah, I was going on about Candyman, and then if you watch the remake, well, say the sequel, Recall, that came out recently, it's not bad, but it's not grimy. It's too shiny. It's too clean because it's shot on sort of digital. Corey Feldman was always a good little actor. You know, he's got that sort of voice. And he's got quite a lot of personality for a little kid his age. And obviously, again, I totally forgot to mention, Goonies, one of my favourite films with him starring in, as opposed to for The Road Warrior. Can't wait to start doing the Mad Max films. I do need to get them though. I've only got Fury Road and Furiosa. I've not watched Mad Max. Mad Max 2 I've watched in the last few years. Phenomenal film, but I'd love to watch that again. And Beyond Thunderdome, Mad Max 3 I'd like to watch. Look at his little face. How amazing is this? Oh, and I forgot to mention, there are a few little sequel type things. Now, there was an advert in the last few years. I'll probably, you can look it up on YouTube, and it's sort of like got Billy's daughter, and she's like a teenage sort of goth emo-y type thing, and Gizmo's in it. It's quite charming, you know. I wouldn't mind if it went for that sort of look with Billy and his family and Gizmo. And then there's another, there's a animated TV series called Gizmo Magwai something, where it's all animated. But again, I've not watched it because I don't like the art style, and I don't think cartoons are as good, or animated series as good as they used to be. He's such a good little actor, Corey Feldman. And look at Gizmo. How cute is that? I always liked the little friendship. It always reminded me of my friendship with my older cousin Alex. Oh, poor little Gizmo. Look at his little face. And again, this is so well done. That is really good. Well done. And like I said, this film is really like a film of many different styles. Classic sort of like 50s style movie, even though it's, you know, shot in the 80s. And then it sort of turns into sort of like a horror, but it's got comedy elements. It works really well. And the sequel, again, it's really incredible. I don't know if that's available in 4K. If it is, I might have to get it on import. So I don't think it's actually officially in the UK. But that's a great thing about 4K films. Now, I love how they all look a little bit mean or angry. And they just look that little bit different, but the same at the same time. Poor little Gizmo, look at him. He just looks so sad. It's like you guys don't know what's going on. Now, I do wonder how long the Mogwais actually live for, because obviously he'd been living with the old guy in Chinatown for quite some time because he knows about the rules and whatever else. And then he's in the second film. If they make the third film, will it still be Gizmo? Will it be a new Mogwai? Well, little Gizmo passed away. Son of Gizmo. Is it? I love the way you guys all humour him. A little Donkey Kong sort of machine there. But yeah, Luke, thank you so much for sending me this 4K. Honestly, like watching Gremlins now is just stunning. It's incredible watching it. I can only imagine this is what it looked like in the cinema. The films never look so good. Like the pictures in the background, you can see kids. I've spotted so many things that I hadn't seen before. You know, just while watching this, it's a good looking film. Like I said, you know, it's not crystal clear, but again, it feels like I'm watching a film in a cinema, and especially because I'm watching it in the man cave. I'm watching it on a 120 inch screen. Oh, look at that little face. I'm talking about Gizmo, not about the actor that plays Billy. And these little shits. A little smirk. I just had to glance over to make sure that I'd actually pressed record. So basically what happened last time then, so it was recording, fine. It got to the school bit where like the actual bad gremlin escapes through like the air vent, and then the disc froze. So I had to give it a good clean. Then I tried it again, and I thought I pressed record. Obviously, I totally forgot. Out of frustration trying to record this, and I recorded the whole podcast, and I got to the end. Then I'm like, I was going to press stop, and then I realised that I hadn't pressed it. I'd only just then pressed record, and I was going to just re-record from the first half, but I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to just start again. I've got all these weird inventions. And again, I get this Peltzer coffee machine. Speaking of coffee, I'm drinking one right now. I've gotten up nice and early. It's around 5 something in the morning, and it's the best way for me to record these. And again, I hadn't really noticed that little experiment that he's got going on there with sound, vibration. And again, I love this set here, you know, like the little town. Oh no, poor little guy. Now, is that, that's not, is that Gizmo? Or is that one of the other ones? I think it was Gizmo. This music is incredible. It is such a well-made film. Spielberg just knows how to do films. I've got to do more Spielberg films, you know, like Indiana Jones and E.T. at some point. I love his films. Probably my favourite film director ever. I love the way they're knocking there. The score in this is phenomenal as well. It really adds to the atmosphere. And again, guys, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Merry Christmas to everyone. I really, really appreciate everyone sort of listening to the podcast. If you haven't already, you can check it out. It's also on YouTube now, the podcast. I'm uploading them there a little bit later, but they're, more on Spotify and Apple. Please leave me comments. I'm also sharing them on the Facebook group, which is Get to the Chopper. So if you haven't joined that already, it's on Facebook. It's a great group of people. And it's not a huge group, but I like it because everyone comments, everyone's nice, Mm-hmm. He plays a really good drunk guy. And again, the music, it just changes the mood. Mm-hmm. Again, it's just beautiful scenery. Well, this is where we find out, I think, that Kate doesn't like... Is it her name Kate? We don't like Christmas. I like the contrast between the two of them. Obviously you can tell she's had a bit of a harder life than him, even though Billy's dad makes terrible inventions. He's a bit more innocent with the world, more, not experienced all hardships. I'm sure he has, but not to the extent what we find out later on happens with Kate's dad. They're both really good, actually. I'm so glad they both came back to the second film. They do have a believable chemistry as a couple, and they suit each other. Oh, I honestly, I used to fancy her so much. Growing up as a kid. Yeah, I'm loving doing these commentary films. So I'll give you the lineup then. So coming up then, in the new year, first up, we have another film that Luke Payne has sent me, and that is Drive. Now, it's not the Ryan Gosling film. It's a film starring Mark Dacascos, which is from the late 80s, early 90s, I believe, and it's sort of like a martial art film. Now, I don't know. It's the first film that I'm doing for the commentary podcast style that I haven't actually watched, but I am a fan of Mark Dacascos' work. I love cheesy martial art films, films like American Ninja, Kickboxer, the Jackie Chan films and stuff like that. So it'll be great going into it just for blind. Luke did say to me, he goes like, I'll send it over to you, and again, big shout out to you, mate. I really appreciate that. Oh, Body Snatchers, love this film. Probably my favourite version. I probably will do that and the sequel that came out many years later in the 80s. But Drive, yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy doing that. So I'm gonna go into it completely blind, not seen it before. I mean, how does this time zone thing work? Surely it's going to be some sort of digestive issue or a certain amount of food or more of a guideline. Because if they are in different time zones, does their body adjust? Is it the circadian rhythm? You know, you sleep at night and your body does what it does? Or is it, who knows? But yeah, so we've got Drive coming up, followed by a Universal Soldier, followed by Creed 2. Actually, I'll do Creed 2 first because my Universal Soldier hasn't arrived yet. Then Creed 2, again, I love that film. I will be doing the third one. Then hopefully, once I've done all the Creed films, I will be doing the Rocky films and maybe a few more Stallone films. And then, Universal Soldier. And then last but not least, for January, I'll be doing Pitch Black. Now, I'm trying to average out about 5 films a month. But you know what? I'll probably try and do a few more because, you know, I need to watch a few more films. So, again, guys, feel free to request, like Luke has. Luke has been requesting films that he wants me to do, and I'm more than happy to do it. And like I said, I've got quite a large Blu-ray collection, so if I haven't got the film on 4K, I'll watch it on Blu-ray. But look at that evil look. He's up to something. But if a film warrants the 4K upgrade, like one of my favourite films, like say, for example, like this, you know, it's definitely worth getting. You know, I'm not going to upgrade all my Blu-ray films. There's certain films that I just won't. You know, even example, like I'm getting the Critters films, and they're only on Blu-ray, but even if they were in 4K, I don't think I would get them in 4K. It's only certain films like Die Hard, Ghostbusters, Predator that I have upgraded because I felt it warrants it, or certain films like Space Odyssey. Look at Gizmo's little face. That's amazing. But oh yeah, I forgot to mention before I was going on about other films like Gremlins spin-off. You also had Ghoulies, which was more of a demonic sort of creatures thing. That always scared me though, the little green bold ghoulie thing, because in the trailer I think it shows it sort of like biting some guy who's gone for a pee. Now this is interesting. This is when the film becomes a bit scary and horrific. That is quite horrible. I forgot how horrible and nasty this film can be. That is quite gross. And it does look quite slimy and horrid. But other films I'm looking forward to doing, guys, are sort of like a few Stallone films, more Schwarzenegger films. I don't think I've done any Schwarzenegger films. There is a film I do want to do, actually. It's from the 1980s. It's the remake of The Blob. It stars Kevin Dillon. I've got the Blu-ray of The Blob, but I've seen the 4K version. My friend Matt runs a little thing called the Amity Cinema, which is a little town's local cinema thing where he shows a few films like from this era at the cinema. And I saw the 4K version of The Blob and it looked stunning, absolutely stunning. And it's one of my favourite films. And it's actually the first 18 rated film that I watched as sort of a kid. I was probably only about 14. And like my cousins, Alex, and took me to go and see that. Now this is interesting. Look, there's the time machine from H.G. Wells, the time machine. And if you notice, it's there. And then it's starting up the machine. And when it cuts back to it, it's just smoke. You don't see it. But look at this. Look at these weird cocoon things start to move and they're like, where's it gone? Now, interestingly enough, I had just watched an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Leonard ends up buying, I think from eBay, a replica of the time machine. He didn't think he was going to win it, and he wins it, and it's like an actual full-scale size one. Oh, that was brilliant acting from him. It's like, speak to Mrs. Deagle. I obviously I can. But yeah, I want to do sort of like films like Indiana Jones. I will definitely want to do Goonies. I want to do some Jackie Chan films. I want to do some Van Damme films. Like the first one, obviously, is going to be Universal Soldier, but I've got Bloodsport on 4K. I'm going to get, I know there's a Kickboxer 4K. I'll definitely get that somewhere. I want to do some more horror. I love horror. But I also want to do some black and white ones. I want to do like maybe the original King Kong in black and white. I've got that on DVD. Don't know if that's on Blu-ray. I want to do some of the Ray Harryhausen stop motion films like Valley of the Gwangi. I will say, Luke, if you listen to this, HMV are doing that for $9.99, so it's worth getting yourself a copy. I'm probably going to treat myself for that for my birthday. I'm going to buy that, but I also want to get films like Clash of the Titans, Jason and the Argonauts, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, films like that. I don't mind getting on just Blu-ray, you know. Ooh, it's quite gory and like, love the mystery of the smoke. You can really see the texture on the 4K. And all the goo and the dry ice and the lights and the... Poor little Gizmo, look at him. Man, whoever it was who worked on the special effects on this have done a great job. Imagine watching this back in the day. I think over here in the UK, was this a 15? Now, it was around here last time the film stopped working. Now, I'm hoping that I cleaned the disc enough for it to work. I don't know how on earth I managed to get like a smudge on it with my finger last time, because normally I'm so careful when I try and get the films out. But I did notice that when I was cleaning it last time, there was like a fingerprint on the disc. I've got to admit, the sound design on this is pretty good. You can hear the kids in the background. You can hear the projector there. The noise of the reels. And I love that. I love the reels of like an old projector spinning. Now, I've got to quickly tell you my setup there. So, yeah, as you all know, I've got a 4K projector. I'm watching it like on 120 inch size. I haven't got my screen set up yet because I've got 120 inch screen, but it fits on my wall. But the only problem is I didn't take it into account it going into my basement room, which is a man cave. It goes down the stairs. It just can't do the turning in because it's so long. So I might have to take it apart and then put it up. But again, I'm in no rush because I still need to paint my man cave like a darker color, because at the moment it's pretty much just being primed. I need to paint it, so I'm just projecting it on a wall, which is quite a big wall, and I'm just sat here on my sofa while I'm recording this. But yeah, normally I've only got like a 2.1 sound thing, so it's just basically 2 satellite speakers and a subwoofer. But for the podcast, I'm using my Rodecaster Pro and like some headphones And I tell you what, the headphones have been brilliant, really, because it really showcases the sound. So at some point, I will get myself a Dolby Atmos setup. I did think I was going to get myself one for my birthday, but I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll invest in doing up the man cave, painting it up so it's like darker tones, so it feels more like an arcade, more like a cinema, and then I'll get the projector screen in, and then I'll get the Dolby Atmos thing. I mean, for the time being, you know what? I'm happy enough watching films on just like my 2.1, or if not, when I'm doing the podcast with my system. It's a Snickers bar. Now, I did mention this the last time I tried to record this, that over here in the UK, I do remember it for a time. I only knew Snickers as Marathon, and then they went for a rebrand, which was Snickers, which was what more internationally it was called. And I don't know why it was called Marathon over here. But to this day now, it is Snickers. It probably is my favourite chocolate, the Snickers bar. I love that sound of the reel just spinning. There's just something so iconic about it. Now this is where the film gets darker. Now it's around here where the film started not working, so fingers crossed it'll work. I love that jump scare. Really well executed, really well shot. You didn't think that was going to happen, and I love the reveal. Slow reveal of him grabbing the apple. And it's got that slight flickering going on as well, menacing. And it's got the music, the change of tone, really changes the vibe of the happy, sort of like everything's good film. And it's got this weird creature that's just chewing on glass. And you're thinking, like, what the hell is this? Now, the film had stopped working around here when it goes through the thing. It started jumping. It seems to be okay now. I don't want to curse myself. The music's brilliant. Really adds to it. And again, I can't wait to do Drive. And again, I know I keep on mentioning it. Big shout out to Lucas Payne. But I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. It's so nice for him to do this. You know, he doesn't have to, but he does. I love the sound of the Gremlins, and again, the sound design in this film is brilliant. Poor little Gizmo, look at him, just hung up there. Hung up there. Oh, God, poor little guy. Yeah, so another thing I've started doing then, so I've started uploading them to YouTube. They're a little bit behind on YouTube. But I've also got another thing as well, like I've just started doing. It's called Buy Me a Coffee, where basically you can donate as little or as much as you like, and that's just to support the show. And again, anything that I do get, you know, I will put towards the show, and that will be like buying films and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, you know, buying 4Ks, you know, like do cost a bit of money. And again, don't get me wrong, this isn't me begging or anything like that. I will do films. I buy films for myself anyway, just generally because I like watching films. But, you know, like it will help me buy films I wouldn't normally watch. But again, I feel like I'm stuck in a rut sometimes. I'm stuck in a bit of a limbo where I only tend to watch what I've watched, which is why I'm really grateful for Luke sending me the film Drive, because I haven't seen it. And it's going to give me reason to watch something that I haven't watched. So I'm quite excited. And I do want to start watching more films that I haven't seen, like like Tron Ares. I'm going to be doing Predator Badlands when it comes out. I'll be doing Superman, and it'll be the way, like me watching films for the first time with you guys. You guys can listen to what I think. But again, I do think psychologically this is good for me to do. Reason being is I've got so much geekery out there. Can you see the handprints there on the stereo? I wouldn't have noticed that before. And they're on the wall as well. This mum is a badass mum. So yeah, I mentioned the Buy Me a Coffee thing. I'll include the links in the show description on Spotify, Apple, and on YouTube when it does come out. Now, I love the way you don't really see what the creature is. It's just a slow reveal. And the way Buy Me a Coffee is, like I said, you just do as little as much or as much as you like. And I think it all donates sort of like sort of like PayPal, but pays into your bank, I think. I don't know because I've tried it yet. Way. There we go. The first reveal of the Gremlin. It's a horrible looking thing. Really beautiful design. And I say beautiful, I mean, look at it. It looks evil. It looks monstrous. Now, I had been thinking about showing this to my daughter, who's 12. Now, times are different. Kids aren't the same now than they used to be. That's quite a horrific way for it to go. I'll always remember that. It's quite... This mum kills quite a lot. She's badass. I think this might be too terrifying for my daughter. Now, here is something I hadn't watched until I had previously recorded it. Like, she goes one-on-one. She's shielding herself at the table against this gremlin. And she stabs it. Now, I always thought it died. It doesn't die. You see it sort of still wiggling around in the background, fighting for life. Look, it's trying to take the knife out. It's still doing what it's doing. It's still, you know, like, and this is the most horrific death, the microwave. It still somewhat scares me. It's horrible. Oh, that's horrible. Look, and it's still moving in the background. That adds to the horror, I feel, because, you know, and again, it has got dark elements of comedy, not as much as the second one. This one, I feel like it's more horror related, really. It's got comedy, but again, it's a mixed bag. You know, there's certain films that do this really well. American Werewolf is another film that does it brilliantly. I cannot wait to do that. I've got the 4K version of that as well. And this is what I want to talk about. You notice that there she's sweating. No one looks sweaty in modern films anymore. Back in the day, everyone sweated. You looked at it. And again, a lot of it is down to required on the scene, but not just that. It's the way films were shot, the way films were lit, I should say. Like heavy lights that when you're in a studio, that was fantastic. The way you could just see the glow of the red eyes and it just sort of like coming out the trees. It was barely there, but not camouflaged fantastically. Great scene. Really well done. The terror, the horror. And there's Stripe coming out the box. Now, as a kid, I always thought his name was Spike, but his name is Stripe. And he's got his evil laugh there. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well, these little swords that are there, perfectly set up. Now, I do want to mention something. You know, like if you'd noticed the swords kept on getting falling down every time someone opened the door, and then they'd pick them up. How is that still screaming? Now, I do want to tell a story. One of my childhood friends, we're not friends anymore. We had a bit of a falling out, but that's not the story I want to tell. Maybe that would be for another podcast. What it is that he was really into his Vikings. He probably still is. And he had like a big Viking sword above his bed. only held up by some nails onto the wall, and the sword angled. So I'm thinking, geez, I wonder if he's decapitated himself or during some Viking lovemaking sessions, whether he's accidentally decapitated some lady out there. Little Gizmo, hello. But yeah, the reason why I'm doing the buy me a coffee thing is just like, you know what? I reached a point now where I've done many podcasts, Retro Asylum, RGDS, and a bunch of others like the Andy Godoy show, Gets to the Chopper. This is the real Gets to the Chopper. But I feel like, you know what? I'm never going to sort of like make a fortune. I feel certain shows, certain things like, you know, you can make a branding of it. I'm happy. I think I've reached the point where I'm happy enough, you know, like when people like Luke send me films. I remember Chris Stoughton as well from the group sent me a film. It's like a B movie. It's like about giant ants, which I need to watch. You know, I appreciate people doing that, and that's good enough for me. And if someone tips me like what, £1.50, I'm happy with that. You know, if someone sends me a film, I'm happy with that. You know, I'm never going to make it sort of like, you know, I'm never going to be like this internet sensation celebrity. I'm okay with that, you know. And with the real Gets to the Chopper, it gives me an opportunity to watch films I enjoy doing, do something creative, get my output goings. And, speaking about outgoings and creativity, update, guys. So I'm on week 7 now after my leg operation. I'm walking a little bit better, but sadly, Royal Mail have decided to let me go. So yeah, because apparently I'm not recovering fast enough for their liking, and it's goodbye, Mr. Godoy. So I'm no longer a postman, and it is sad, but you know what? It will save wear and tear on my knees. The wear and tear on my knees had got pretty bad. I'd got level 3 cartilage damage, which is one more stage. It's level 4, and then I would have to get a knee replacement. So again, the meniscus tear was a blessing in disguise. I wouldn't have realised how bad my knees actually were. So again, you know, a new chapter in my new life. I have to find a new career. Not sure what I'm going to do, but you know what? Life has a plan for me. We'll figure it out. I love this scene. It's the fear of, like, you know, water multiplies them. And again, look at the lights there. Really well done. Classic sort of like show more but by showing less. And it was just that thought of like, you know what, it's going into the pool. If a drop of water does create some, how many gremlins will come out of that swimming pool? Absolutely loads. And I do love this Spielberg throwback, like these police officers making fun of Billy with this, because that does appear later on in Gremlins 2, the whole time scale, time zone thing. But also in Goonies, when Chunk is phoning them up and he talks about Gremlins as well. Nice little throwback to Spielberg. Right, so the Gremlins are out there. Look at this. I love the special effects of them just wandering out there in the street. It's really well done. You got Santa Claus up there. Now, apologies, guys. Again, Gremlins must have been at play. I feel like my Blu-ray player basically just died there. Don't have to worry about syncing up. Hopefully I've synced it up as much as I've had to. So I've sort of had to re-edit this bit here as much as I can. I'll quickly mention what's going on anyway, just in case it's slightly out of sync, because it did mess up a little bit there. I don't know whether it was my cat. I don't know whether it was Gremlins, but it's messed up. So anyway, he's pointing at the TV. He mentioned he should have got Xena. You've got the antenna aerial guy, Gremlins there hanging on the ceiling. They're swinging around. He's pointing at the remote control. It says, no, speak to me, look at me. Smiling at the TV. Remote control, signal gone out. He can't get a damn signal. So he's going to the door. Well, he's got his coat. And with that then, guys, you guys should have it all lined up to what's actually happened. I do apologize about this, guys. I don't know what's actually happened there. I don't know whether my cat's accidentally pressed on the remote control because it was near me. And it was sort of like demanding attention, and she must have pressed something. But anyway, I think it should be synced up as well as it should do. I do think in future, though, what I will do is get my cat out the bloody man cave. So it is just literally just wandering around wanting attention. Now, this is where things get interesting. It appears, or it looks like the Fluttermans are going to meet their demise. And it does look like it in this film. You know, they're heading towards the door here. They're laughing maniacally, crushing through the doors there. They're laughing. He shuts the front door and they go through, and you don't see them die, but you think that they die. Here we go. They're about to scream. He's about to let out a yell. Here we go. There we are. Now, we think that's the end of them, but they appear back in the second film. Now, I don't know whether it's because, like, what, they were so popular, whether the actor was really likable, and they thought, you know what, let's get this guy back. He was brilliant. And we got the priest posting his letters. Poor Anderson. Now, I do wonder why the priest is just standing there. He could have just warned him. He's not even trying to help him. I mean, I don't know what it is about these species of creatures, but they do like causing chaos and creating havoc. Whereas Gizmo is just really cute. Look at him holding the American flag there. Look how patriotic he is. This film really is in my top 100 films. I would say it's in the higher up, top 30-ish type films. I've recently started making a list just for maybe one day if I do like my top 100 sort of movie podcast, like films. I might do it for a podcast. The only issue I was thinking though is like my mood may change, more films may come up, so it may vary. But if that's something you guys will be interested in hearing, please let me know and I'll do a podcast about that. It's just an idea for now, and like I have been jotting down some films in no particular order, and I've just been getting them sort of like films that I absolutely love, films that I love, films that, and I've just had them in different order. Just realised Mrs. Deagle, she's all grey there. Was she wearing a wig before? Why is she looking a lot more fragile and sort of older. Well, why she even got a stair lift where she just meanly walked along? It's definitely a cat lady. This is a glue sniffers. I love that. They all look so happy. You can see like how they are puppets and stuff like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I feel, again, I've mentioned it a few times through the podcast where I think it adds to the charm knowing the way it's done. Again, Christmas Story, she feels like they've come for her. She should have been good. She's regretting it. I love this scene. It always made me laugh. How big is this house? When you see it, I mean, it's a big house, but like, it looked like it was on more levels than that. I love that little look. Just the slippers, the feet up in the air. And again, look at these cops. Why are they just staring? Why aren't they just doing something? But they're letting that guy who's dressed up as for Christmas as Santa Claus, and they're just letting him get attacked. And I'm not saying that they should start shooting them because they might shoot the poor guy. I love how charismatic these gremlins are. And that's a testament to the effects, the prop makers who make these puppets. Incredible. Absolutely fantastic, And Billy being a kid using his catapult. I never realised how much red this film has got a tint of, the way it shines. It's not a tint, it just shines. It's being lit really well. It gives it sort of like a warm glow through the night snow. Look at how horrible these creatures are. Oh, my bloody cat's back. Hello, cats. I don't know what the hell my cat wants. It normally starts demanding attention. So yeah, the next film I'll be doing after this will be for the new year. Hopefully I'll record it in the next day. So it's ready for the new year, is Drive. So the film by Mark Dacascos. And Mark Dacascos, obviously, he was Eric Draven in the TV series of the film The Crow. So it's called The Crow Stairway to Heaven. He was also in Double Dragon, the actual film. He was in Brotherhood of the Wolf. And he's been in loads. I think even John Wick 3, where he plays a role. And I think he's martial artist / stuntman. He's been in loads. Honestly, if you look at Mark Dacascos' filmography, he's been in about 1,000 different films or shows. What gave that away? Dory's Tavern. Now, this is where it's interesting with these Gremlins. I'll tell you what, the closest thing you can get to Gremlins nowadays are the Minions from the TV, from the animated show, the movie, the Pixar. Is it Pixar or whatever it's called? The one with Gru, the one, Steve Carell doing the voice, and the little yellow little creatures, the Minions are like this, but they're less evil. But yeah, I suppose, like, you know what? They like drinking, they like creating chaos, they like partying, is what they are. Why is she still there? I suppose, like, she was cleaning up the bar when they all just ran in. There's a flash of one. I do like the way all the Gremlins have got little personalities and gimmicks and stuff like that. Obviously, it shows a lot more in the second film. It goes to more extreme type sort of Gremlins. Star Wars Arcade. Look at that, guys. You got Stripe there, who's the boss. And you've got another one there. Look. I do like how they've all got personalities. This guy here is just sort of by himself, drinking himself down. He's had a bad day. His girlfriend's left him. And then there's another gremlin with a little puppet. Again, these things don't need to be here, but you know what? It makes it feel more interesting. It gives these creatures personalities, makes them interesting, shows that they're not all generically the same. And where he got that hammer from, I do not know. It's like this one. So well done. So many little things you can spot them doing. It's absolutely expertly done, this. It looks really, really good. This is where she discovers that she can blind all the Polaroid camera. It'd be interesting to see how the Gremlins work in today's sort of world with mobile phones, with lights and technology, and sort of see what sort of new Gremlins we get and what sort of situation. I do hope, like, they did start off in this little town and they ended up going to the Big Apple. Was it New York? They ended up going to the city, and where would they go next? I wouldn't mind them going back to this little town. I do like how they make Kate a little bit more unhinged even in the second one on purpose. Like, she's all panicking, stressed out. We hear a Christmas story, and then in the second one, she's always got something to stress out and she goes a bit insane. Do love it. Love the little shadows in the back. Cool, I'm having a bit of a yawn. Ugh. Apologies about that. There's gremlins everywhere. Yeah, I can't believe, like, Sod's Law, the bloody the 4K player just stopped working. I was like, what's going on? What's happened? What are the odds of that? And it happened again. But you know what? This time I've definitely pressed record. It definitely will go out. I'm not going to have to tell you to resync it up. And it's all going to hopefully be seamless when I do edit all together. Here we go. Kate's Christmas story, why she hates Christmas. This is a really sad story. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, sorry guys, I've just been caught up watching the film. I've totally forgot that I was doing the commentary. Apologies about that. But let the mood sink in. The atmosphere of it all going on. I think I'm just caught in the atmosphere, like with the chaos and just the aftermath of it all. And look, it's all been destroyed. There's fires, there's stillness, there's quietness. Where is everyone? I really got invested. Honestly, doing these commentaries is harder than it actually seems to be, because you've got to point out things that are happening, film facts, little sort of stories of myself watching the film, little insights, and yeah. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There he is, eating some popcorn. This is what I want to know. How on earth did they get the film playing? Which one of these Gremlins has projector experience? Because after all that looks like the film's really messed up. but somehow one of them is skilled enough to get the film going. He's got it working. I love the surprised look on their faces, and they're all happy. Ho ho. You know what? I might even end up watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on 4K. It's available in 4K. I've not seen it in years, and I think with this podcast, it's going to give me the opportunity to watch films that I wouldn't necessarily watch again, but watch them and give my opinion. Honestly, I think the last time I watched this was probably on DVD when my oldest daughter was really little. Oh, little Gizmo. So cute. But yeah, there's loads of modern films that I haven't seen. Well, that I do want to watch. I want to watch the Terrifier films. Like I said before, my issue is I'm always stuck rewatching films that I've seen before, Die Hard, Predator, whatever else. And don't get me wrong, I can watch those films again and again and again. They're absolute favourites of mine. But I do want to watch films that I haven't seen before. So again, I'm really grateful for Luke for sending me the film Drive. It's going to get me out my comfort zone and make me watch something a bit different. So looking forward to that. Cannot wait. Good. Honestly, I know I've said it before, but this film looks really good in 4K. Gremlins is grainy enough where it looks like I'm watching it on a 35mm. There's so much detail going on the textures of the seats there, the metal, the shininess, the gremlins themselves, the fire there. It looks good. I know to the untrained eye, 4K isn't always a big upgrade over Blu-ray. But trust me, guys, if you watch it on the biggest screen possible, like even on a projector screen, or well, projector I should say, you'll notice a difference, whether it's in color depth, skin details, tones, background details. Certain colors come out a lot better than normal. I'd really recommend it, honestly. If you guys have got the space for it, get yourself a 4K projector. There's nothing quite like it. I love that. Just the effects. So smartly done. That was good. Good explosion. Really well done. The way Gizmo's face lit up there. It's interesting just watching the stillness of it all. Like where are all the people? Where are they hidden? Are they all hiding? Are they all sort of gone off to one place of safety, like a town hall? That was really well done with him on the skateboard. It's a little Gizmo. Gone, oh. This film is just so well done. Just the different sort of like, this feels like proper horror. The way it's just lit, the music, the atmosphere, the pacing. And it's down to direction, cinematography, the actors, the sound effects, everything. There's just something haunting about like a toy store, all the toys moving around. It's dark. The rows of those empty, unanimated eyes just looking at you. Is that an ET there? They look so damn good. The expressions on them, honestly, the puppetry on this and like the way they've been put together, the design, it is just so damn good. Jesus Christ. That is quite brutal. Stripe is not messing around. I love that. Love that little voice. I love the way he was just waddling around there. And I think it's the silence, it's the breathing of the breath that you can hear both of them. Again, it's so simply done. You don't have to show the whole Gizmo, but you show enough where you honestly feel like you've seen the whole thing just moving, even though, again, like this, works so well. Damn, forgot about that bit. Billy really has been beaten, hasn't he? I love him driving this. Look at him driving. His little face. Oh, the light. I love that bit again. It's a nice way to get him away from that bit there to where he needs to be. I love the little bird sounds. That lightens the mood. I love him driving that little car. The little dog. That's funny. The sound design, like I said before, is really good. You can hear the water dripping there. Billy knows something's going to happen. He needs to try and get it before it all happens all over again. And again, I don't know who it is that created the design of the Gremlins, but the goblin, gross, weird creature design is fantastic. Very iconic. I love the way Gizmo was just driving like he's on a mission. I mean, he is on a mission. Poor little dog, look. Look at his eyes. Hmm. And this is like one of the most horrific parts of it actually melting. Just everything. Where's it had been? Just shows up at the nick of time. That is horrible. That is gross. It's almost like Rob Bottin's work from The Thing. Little Gizmo. Oh, poor little thing. And I love the way it's just one of those things that you think it's over, but it's not quite over. I love the glow of the lights of the water. Really makes it more magical. And again, another thing, like how they've done it. Did they sort of like melt it on a hot plate? Is that what's gone on, and how they've got that thing like a waxy type rubber, like, and the way it's just breathing still. The way the dog's staring, really good little actor. Apologies for yawning. It's just like I got up pretty early to record this. And I really wasn't expecting it to sort of like cut out again. But again, hopefully this time it's done seamless where you guys won't really notice the where it's happened unless me mentioning it. I love the way she's taking his temperature. Just make sure it's not midnight. Throwing out there for you guys, theory. Is Gizmo a Pokemon? Because they evolve, they change. He's like a Pikachu. Whereas Pikachu evolves into, a Raichu. They evolve into those weird, gross creatures. Before the podcast actually ends, I want to talk about some games that are related to Gremlins. There is a... what's it called? Not point and click. Text adventure of Gremlins on the ZX Spectrum, which is basic enough and it's worth checking out. You did. You. You do feel sorry for Billy because he's been quite attached. Oh, that's so cute. It really is. It's really cute. And there's me, 48, nearly 49, and I'm talking about how cute Gizmo the Gremlin is. And I cannot wait to do the second Gremlins film. You know what? I'm going to have a look and see if it is available in 4K in the US so I can try and do it. He should have just said, I do not want your crap. You know what he should have done? He should have just dropped it, stepped on it and gone, thank you for nothing. And again, look how beautiful this is. After all the chaos, you've got the snow, you've got the house, the Christmas lights. It looks beautiful. So hopefully there's a happy ending. And again, we are reunited with Billy and Kate in Gremlins 2, which again, I honestly feel is an amazing sequel, I should say. Oh, your 4K player stops working. Yeah, I think there might be, especially. And yeah, so that is Gremlins. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for downloading the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and now also on YouTube. Don't forget, you can also support the show by sort of leaving me like a review. If you haven't already, leave me a comment, which is always nice. And if not, you can chat about it on the Facebook group. And again, I've also got Buy Me a Coffee now. You don't have to. It's just there if you decide to choose to. Oh, and Barney's real name is Mushroom. And with that then, guys, I have been Andy Godoy, and I'm going to wish you all a Merry Christmas and see you all in the new year. Goodbye.
It all started with Billy's dad, a weird little gift shop in Chinatown. Some strange little fella called Gizmo, a cuter pet